Hi. I've been homesick a lot lately, and also just the holidays and stuff. Oops. So a lot of my students take off this time of year, or the holidays just fall on their lesson days, and they just are like, I don't need to reschedule, which is fine. I was gonna make up a song, but I think I want to talk about something instead. I listened to like 3 of my lo-fi albums today, and I'm feeling some self-esteem for once. Hold on. Okay. I mean, relative self-esteem. Like, I know that I'm weird, and I know that my stuff sounds unpolished or unfinished or whatever. But if you had inspiration to make up as many songs as I do, you'd probably sound like this too. Or you'd just never share them. Because that's sort of what used to happen. All the way back to maybe 2014, or if I include in Chicago, maybe as far back as like 2008. I've had like hundreds of songs in my little personal recorder. Oh, hang on. Like one of these. And I would listen to them. Like the Chicago ones I actually ended up putting up, but well, no, I didn't finish putting them up. I don't know. There's like 10 albums I never released from when I lived there. Sorry, I'm leaning at a funny angle. That was weird. Now I have this thing, but the batteries die on it really quickly, so I barely use it. And there's no way to charge it. You have to use batteries, but the batteries die like 15 minutes into a video. And as you know, I sometimes write really long songs, so I keep forgetting where to look. But I hate that when I watch those videos back and I see myself like barreling, staring into the camera, and then I watch it and I'm like, that just looks creepy. It's gonna land in the tree. Oh, well, I can't stay there. Oh well. Yeah, there's something on my mind. So these cheeks that I love, I kind of don't want to have to objectify my body to talk about this topic, but I love having big cheeks, but I don't naturally have big cheeks. Like if I eat really healthy, they go away. So I guess I kind of wanted to talk about that because I have looked different ways my whole life, pretty much since I was like a teenager. And so I don't like the term eating disorder because I don't like it when a concept has power over us. I also don't like labels in like psychiatric stuff. A lot of people I know have one label one year, and then they're like, oh, now they figured out it's really this, and then they have another label and another medication, and then 2 years after that it's another label. And even the DSM, the therapy manuals, they keep changing what the terms are, and so I don't like to give too much power to things that are still in process. I don't like to give permanent power to things that are in process, which I think a lot of therapy concepts are. Humans have existed for a very long time pre-therapy, and therapy is a fairly new thing to make a paid and formalized thing. I don't know. People like me, like I've had good therapists. Well, I haven't had very many good therapists. I used to go to therapy. I had one friend who was a therapist, and she was sort of like my mentor, and that was the best relationship I had with a therapist. Anyway, not what I was going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about gaining and losing weight. So for my face, I actually don't want to lose any weight. I like having chubby cheeks. But my cholesterol went up a lot a couple years ago. I don't think any kids are watching this, whatever. I've been on birth control a few different times in my life, and I had to go off it each time, and every time I went on it, I put on anywhere from 30 to 50 pounds, and then it was a lot of work to take it back off. And this is the longest that I've stayed a higher weight for my frame. And it's, I mean, I admit pretty openly that I have like straight up PTSD from politics in our country and stuff, and like some days all I could do was just go eat a soft pretzel, and soft pretzels aren't the problem, it's an overall thing, but it's more of a mindset. It's like when I'm, like if you ever watch any old videos of mine, like they're all over the spectrum. Some at the start of this channel is when I was at my like absolute lowest weight, wasn't allowing myself to have even more than like one French fry a year, and I would freak out if like someone made it cute, like my boyfriend like made it cute, like, oh, here's a little nub, you know, and then I'd be willing to have one little tiny, like, you know, burnt piece of a nub to share a fry. But I would panic, you know, like, I'm not controlling my food. And so that's me when I'm really skinny. You know, no ice cream, no desserts, terrified to go out on a date to a restaurant, terrified to go to a movie because we might want popcorn. What if he wants to put butter on it? How do I control it? And it's just stressful, and holidays were stressful, and weddings, birthday parties, anything were stressful. There was cake. I had lots of phases in my life where when I was on the lower end of the spectrum for my own body, weight-wise, where, I mean, my anxiety would be sky high because it would be like I wouldn't allow myself to have like any sugar or any fatty foods. One diet I made up was 1 gram of fat or less. Every food item that I ate, I forced myself to have 1 gram of fat or less. If this is triggering for you, I'm sorry. I'll probably put like trigger warning in it. And so that's just, it's like a control thing. And I learned this unhealthy way of eating when I was like 16, 17, because I put on weight when I was with one of my first boyfriends, and, you know, we were going out for hamburgers and eating not the way I normally eat, and he actually liked me gaining weight, but then when we broke up, I was like, who am I? Like, it didn't feel like me, but my ways to take the weight off, I made up. They were unhealthy. It was like workout anorexia, like going to the gym all the time and really pushing myself, and then the 1 gram of fat or less thing, that was when I was like 17, 18, and I made that up. And some other problems too, I won't get into, but classic eating disorder stuff. Whereas when I got older, you know, and it was from like birth control or something, I think I was in my early 20s or mid 20s. It was usually always if I was like with a partner and didn't feel like I needed to be hot or sexy or whatever. I mean, it's gross thinking. I know it's gross. Sorry. But I would, you know, put on weight. But then when I got sick of that, or I wanted to take it off, these 2 other times after I went back off the birth control, because I was like, I can't do this. It messes with my hormones. It messes with my, obviously with my metabolism and my mind. So I'd go back off, and then, oops, you know, the way that I lost the weight, again, was these weird methods. Like one was, I think, called diets in like the early, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what year it was. I was like 25, 26. So I did diets, and it was like, it had to be a lean cuisine and an apple and a salad, and it was a small salad, and the dressing had to be, and it was like very fixed. It was like a yogurt and a little bit of cereal. And like when I started this job at Child's Play Touring Theater, I was really thin, and I was on that diet, and nobody knew me as somebody who had ever wrestled with weight. And so they were like, why are you eating so strict? You know? And so it's historic for me that the new situations I get in, people are like, why are you eating so strictly? Like, what is this? And then I loosen it, and then it goes up. And I think if it just went up, you know, in this case, it was, again, because I went on birth control, and it just went up, and then mixing that with, and no one asked me to, like, it's whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just feel like there's so many things I should say right now if I'm going to talk about birth control, knowing that I have some younger fans, but I don't think I need to be too worried. There's a lot of much worse YouTube videos than mine. Anyway, I've been sick. Sorry, my voice is weird. I can't really sing very well right now. Maybe that's why I didn't want to make a song. Anyway, so that's on my mind right now, is this yo-yo dieting thing. And I used to be really afraid of like people seeing my old, so when I was really skinny, I didn't want people to see my old photos of when I was heavier, and vice versa. When I was heavier, I didn't want people to find those old photos of when I was skinny. I've run into people before and I could tell they couldn't recognize me, like with my rounder face and chubby cheeks, because when I first moved to Michigan, my face was very like, I can kind of do it. No, I can't. That's weird. But it was very like pointy and angular, which I like that too, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just didn't like that lifestyle. Like, who would say, I want to never eat a single French fry and be terrified if I ever go to a movie or go out to a restaurant? Like, who would choose that? So I don't want to have an eating disorder, but I don't want to carry unnecessary weight either. So a lot of people, there's a definite culture around celebrating and or at least supporting fatness in this area. And so I think I fell into that more than is natural for me. I do prefer having a leaner body that just feels more like me. But I don't like the lifestyle or even the feel totally of being super skinny. Like, there's an in-between between the two that I think I'm probably naturally supposed to fall at, but I keep swinging really hard on these extremes. And, maybe it's because I've never had you've heard me talk about my traumas. Like, I've never had a time in my life where I've gotten to live, despite everything going on in the world. For me, the last few years of our house and doing shows and making music, like, this has been my relative peacetime. Like, as hard as the world has been, pretty much since 2016, I would say, 2016. I left a job, started a piano studio, did a residency, felt like a real songwriter. 2016, started working seriously on albums, made Cloudlight with Brian, started doing more and more and more Jessica and the Rainbow. Yeah, so this is like my peacetime. And I've actually tried to lose the weight quite a few times, but I don't talk about it because, I haven't been able to follow through because of all the things going on in our lives. And I know I don't have to. I actually brought my cholesterol way down. That was the main reason I had wanted to start thinking about it. Not just I don't want to be sexually attractive to any of you watching this ever. Like, if any of you ever act like I am, I will be so grossed out and I will talk you out of it. And I will call you out for objectifying me. Like, clearly I want to be a floating cloud and or cartoon character and or an idea. And I want to be music. I don't want to be a body or a being. Like, bleh. Like, please don't ever objectify me. If you do, we will talk about it online, and it will waste my breath, and it will annoy you and waste yours and whatever. So that's not my MO. But, to be thinner, so for various reasons, for me to feel healthier, I would prefer that. But it's kind of body dysmorphia. I've noticed that when I was really thin, I had body dysmorphia because I never felt like I was thin, even if people were responding to me like I was, like super thin, super, super thin, like I was. And then, moved probably too quickly through my middle and then got to what is pretty heavy for me. And it changed the way I dressed, and I have clothes in my closet that don't fit now. And, no matter how attractive I feel, I have body dysmorphia sometimes being heavier because I won't recognize my shape in a picture. I'll be like, oh wait, did I really put on that much weight? I won't realize it because I won't feel like that because I wear cute frumpy clothing and skirts and tights, and you just can't, I don't know, you can see it. You can see it, I can't see it because I'm not sitting around looking in mirrors all day every day. So it's a tough topic. I've never been brave enough to talk about it like this. So one day I'm going to make a Facebook post about this and be like, here's 6 or 7 or 10 pictures of me. Maybe I'll do it on Instagram and Facebook. Whoa. And I'll post every different extreme of my weight and looks. And I don't see people who are putting themselves in the public view doing that, like celebrities or just people like me. I feel like it's something we act like we have to hide. Either I have to identify with this size or I have to identify with my skinny size. And like, it's just a thing that I don't see very often, is people just talking openly with this concept of, I mean, you could, if you didn't want to call it an eating disorder, you could even just call it yo-yo dieting. Like, I clearly have a yo-yo approach to caring about my health or my food intake or whatever. Like, and if I'm very honest, I prefer I make pizzas with my boyfriend for a date, and I don't even eat that much. Like, but I let myself do that kind of thing at this size. What are some other fun things? You know, I actually had my mom's Christmas cookies, or if she visits like she did 2 years ago and makes me my childhood favorite of chicken pot pie, like I actually eat some. Like, I'm not some extreme overeater. I don't sit around eating rolls of, what do you call them? Oreos. That's the thing I would always hear with people who are overeaters, that they'd eat like a whole row of cookies. And I've never been like that. I guess I've done that with a couple things. I'm trying to think what. I do like snacking. Like, my boyfriend used to make fun of me. He would call it like squirrel food or something. I could just say Brian. I think I've mentioned his name before. He's in Cloudlight. You've heard him sing. Go back like 5 videos to one that says Handlebars, and you can hear him sing. It's dreamy. I just made an appreciation post for him and my sister because they're very life-changing humans. So that's why that's on my brain. And also because for me, weight is tied up with my attraction life and my sexual life and my huggy, kissy feelings life. So, you know, all these topics, I don't know, it's just something that does relate to him. For me. Maybe not for everyone, but it does for me. But also I do like the way I feel in clothes and in my skin when I'm about. Let's make a goal. I don't like goals. I don't like New Year's resolutions, but I'll tell you what it is. I won't tell you my weight now or my weight later because I don't think it can be comparative. Also, I'm really short. I'm 4'11". But I think the amount of pounds is like 30 pounds roughly that I would want to lose to feel like I'm being healthy for myself. And I know for some people it's more than that, but you'd have to think ratios. I'm only 4'11". It might even be 35 pounds. That would make me feel comfier in my skin. So, and then once I take that off, I assume that I'll continue to do like what happened at Christmas, like up 5 pounds, down 5 pounds, up 5 pounds. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's more just that I need to never go on birth control again, because that messes up my hormones. And I probably need to forgive myself in advance if there's ever another creepy dictator running our democracy and I eat lots more soft pretzels than usual. It wasn't just that. I love saying that it's the soft pretzels, but that was an inside joke with Brian. Not a joke, actually, at the time. I could explain that, but I don't feel like it. Don't like our politics. I don't like our leader. I don't like a lot of things like right now, but I'm not well versed enough in politics to talk about it openly. It makes me feel too uncomfortable. Also because then I just cry. That's not funny. Okay, well, I haven't done one of these in a long time. I mean, I ended the challenge, so I don't need to do any of these. The 4 challenges. Come see my little setup. I took a picture of this earlier. I don't know why I did that. Oh, shoot. Oh, I thought it fell off. It's just only on one ear. Yeah. Oh, this is a really good book. If you've never heard of Pema or Pema Chodron, she did this, like, this was a speech, a commencement speech. Fail again, fail better. And yeah, she just really believes in failure, and so do I. I mean, you can't avoid failure. You're going to fail at some things. It's sort of just how you work with it. I started making a... hang on. Oh, shoot. Hang on one sec. Oh. Started making a new one of these, like, videos. But this will end up being the first one that I've ever done on one of my original songs. I've done them for, like, spoken word type things. I started this today. Anyway, it's a song off the Michigan Dreams album, which I also re-listened to today. Oh, there it is on my screen. I don't think you can see that. Let's see. Well, maybe you can. Anyway. So that is an important song to me, and I only got a couple pages done for this video, and I was like, I normally do those in like a burst because I don't trust my work ethic maybe to carry over in a focused way on just one thing. Like I always want to kind of keep going, but this song's really important to me, and it's been with me for a while now, so I think I'm gonna try to, oops, I think my piano wants to be played. Anyway, I think I'm gonna try to make that as slowly as I need to. I think that might be the new non-challenge. I mean, here's the thing. My brain loves rules. I think it might be mild OCD or whatever those labels are that I don't believe in, you know. I don't not believe in them, but I don't believe in the point in fixating it, like fixing it in time, like, oh, I'm OCD or I'm not OCD. Like, what's the point of mildly OCD? Like, I don't know. Or OCD in a weird way where I like to have extra weird number type meanings in albums. Like, I don't see the point of this. Anyway, this is not to diminish anyone who actually has a condition that is something where they gain benefit from that type of labeling. I just don't gain a benefit from that. This is a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go down it. What was I saying? Just a second. I can't remember. Oh. The part of me that wanted to make a rule that now I have to go slowly as oh, now if you're going to make a video you have to go very slowly and carefully and really craft each thing. Like, that's just as toxic to my brain as the like go as fast as you can, make an album every month for 12 months kind of thing. Like, clearly that was to catch up on the backlog, and it was to get myself over this feeling that I can't just use my own Bandcamp, or that I can't just use my own YouTube. And these are sources of power, and we are allowed to use the tools that exist. Like, there's no reason we can't use these tools. But I was making a big deal about the tools, like, the only things that can be on my Bandcamp are if they're really this or really that. And it's like, that was maybe like 3 years ago. And then when I got over that, it's just been fun. And like, I think, considering most of us will never make real money, like significant money, from all this creative work we do, like, why shouldn't it be fun? And I'm talking even the sad songs and the trauma songs have been fun. But fun is like everyone's version of fun is different. Like, some artists paint some really dark stuff, but I'm sure that's fun for them. It's just not the right word. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see if that view is pretty. Oh, there's a little owl. I could do that, or let's see if the other view is prettier. They're about the same. I could go up on that guy. What? I don't know. It's not like I can take a survey and then record the song. Whoa. That seems a little brighter. The sweatshirt is very, whatever. I can't talk about that right now. Hold on one second. I had to adjust something, but I'm not going to tell you. Oh my gosh, whatever. I'm so about to say it, but I shouldn't. Okay, I should just make something up that doesn't have singing, because my voice is really wacko right now. Yeah. Record it here too. And here too. Because I just wedged the video so that the audio part's against the wall. 1, 2, record. Now I've got that one. Got that one. Oops. Okay. I don't know what I'm gonna play.
But all to things I can't even understand at all. Understand at all. I try to understand. I've always been so small, but I am letting go of the need to know things, and maybe that's all I really know. I'm letting go of the need to know things, and maybe that's all I know how to do. And if I know how to let go of the need to know, maybe that's why I want to show that to you, 'cause it's kind of fun to do. I'm sorry for all the words I've used to say one simple thing to you. If I just listen in for another clue, maybe I will get it right. From now on, and I don't know, I feel like I'll keep getting it wrong. It's kind of going on too long, like most of the things I do, but I want to know, I want you to know that I didn't mean to be so unsure or unclear. Year after year, it's all the words in my brain that weren't mine. I just was quoting all the people around me who were so loud and glad they found me, so happy to find a sponge like me. And I was ready to follow everybody around me, but I don't think I could, even if I wanted to. Now I need to remember to be very grateful. I got out alive all those dark and lonely nights when I parroted the words you
I don't know what that was. That's how I write songs. I press record and then I just sing and I play things. I can't remember the last time I edited a song. Maybe for Cloudlight, but even those, not really. Yeah, I don't like editing songs. They feel like little presents from somewhere. The only thing I'll say, though, is that in my case, I have like 20 years of like music theory training and like 10 years of teaching piano and music theory, so I'm constantly on a daily basis reminded of all of my training, so that's why you can just think something. It's not like I'm thinking every single note I push, but a lot of times I'm thinking like in chord theory, like that was in the key of, you know, D major, and you would have to know, oh my gosh, why am I turning this into a teaching video? Well, maybe till it runs out. If you know the D, my keys suddenly aren't working. That's weird. It's like my piano doesn't want me to teach you the D major scale and all of the chords that go with it. But, I mean, I could. A D major scale, it's the third scale that I teach my students because it has 2 sharps. The first scale I teach them has none, which means all white keys. And then I teach them, so that's C major. And then I teach them G major, which has 1 sharp. And then we talk about that, and we talk about the chords that go in that, and how a chord is literally, like everything in pop music, is just taking the notes of the scale and playing every other note. That feels really uncomfortable. That's not how you play a chord. You don't go like that. That hurt my hand. But it is every other finger, you know. So if you know a scale, like for instance C major, which is all the white keys from a C to a C. So if you know what a C looks like, it's the one just to the left of the 2 black keys. There's 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2, 3, 2. So the C is just to the left of it. And if you played even just with a single finger, all the notes, then you're doing, you know, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's a major scale. And C is the only one that if you start on and play all white keys to the next C will sound good. Will sound like a major scale. I shouldn't say good. Some people, I mean, like minor. I like minor songs, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, and then I teach G, which has 1 sharp, and then I teach D after that, and D has 2 sharps, and that's what I was just playing in. So you would learn that, you know, like if you're me, you learn it all the way through a conservatory, and you do juries, and you're able to, and you go all the way through, up and down, and you learn all of them, and you're able to do them on cue, and you do little hand and exercises, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so, but this is like, you know, in this YouTube era and everything era, it's like people are wanting to skip steps. I was just talking about that with a grandpa that wants to pay for lessons for a grandson. It's like, it's not realistic to think that you can have my level of skills without doing what I did. And maybe you can do it a lot faster than I did. Taking lessons was not easy for me. I'm very right-brained in a very left-brained world. But, you know, I studied for 10 years and then got into a music conservatory, studied 4 more, and passed my piano juries at a music conservatory. Like, that's 14 years of someone's life of practicing every single day. And that's not just practicing just anything. That's practicing what they tell you to practice, whether it's, you know. Like, I hate that song with a passion. It's like a concerto. It's a Bach concerto. And I hated everything about it the whole 9 months I had to learn it. But, like, stuff like that. Like, or like, anyway, I don't remember all that. But I played that, like, in 8th grade. Like, these are things that people do. And so to get the kind of skills that can hear a song coming in your head and then just play is a very long journey, but it's a realistic journey. It's probably as similarly discouraged as I feel to save up the $8,000 that I would have to save up to get the Yamaha white piano that I'd like to get someday. Like, some people are just good with money, or they just chose fields where saving $8,000 is not a big thing to them. For me, it feels completely formidable, like I'll never do it. And just today I was researching, I'm like, why can't I make that a goal for myself? It might take me 5 years. I don't know what it would look like to save that much money. I don't save any money. I don't make enough money to save money, really. Working class, you know, I teach piano. Like, unless I charge my students some insane amount, because they're also helping me pay off my grad school debt, and I pay, like, an extra rent payment just to, like, pay off grad school debt, too. So, like, but the parallel is to say that, like, for me, money is intimidating, and savings, and, you know, heaven forbid if I had, like, a what do you call it, a retirement plan or a pension or any of that. I don't have any of that. It's a very risky way to live. So like I could start here and work on that for 10 years, and you could start at over the course of 10 years of lessons, which would be, $25 or $30 or wherever it is in your area a week for a 30-minute lesson. You could do that for 10 years. Adults can do that. Like, that's why I did all these creative challenges. I swear, people think that they're like, once they're in their 20s, they think they're like fixed and done. It's completely insane to me. You can go back to school. You can be like me, where you really had all this music private and then realize, like, no, I meant to be someone who had like a crap ton of albums online. And you can just decide in your 30s, like, well, that's who I'm going to be now. I don't care. I don't care that I wasn't that till now. I don't care if it confuses everyone in my family and friends group. If now I'm suddenly outspoken and sharing a ton of creative stuff, including things that are explicit, including random things for kids, including like such a wide range, like the whole rainbow concept that I made up, like you can do that. You can, I just saw a post of that on Facebook. It was like, at any moment you can introduce a plot twist. It's your life. If you want to be someone who studies piano for the next 10, 15 years, like, it can actually be very comforting and grounding to have a thing that you've always wanted to do. It's like bucket list stuff. It doesn't have to make any logical sense. Why am I being a motivational speaker today? Well, probably because there's a part of me, I just recently invented a new job title for myself called a failure coach. I think people don't know how to work with failure, self-included. And that's what I've been working on a lot. I'd say 2019 was a lot about working with failure, like things that I thought I wanted or things I actually wanted that just didn't work out. And then some things did, but I just really had to learn how to, that thing that salespeople can do where they can get like 90% rejections and 10% success. And actually a salesperson would be like, what? That's a great rate. Me, I could never do that before. Now I'm starting to understand it. I still don't like it, but I at least understand it now. But yeah, there's a lot of people like me out there who are too sensitive, where, say you were taking piano lessons and you're in your first year and you just didn't think you were growing fast enough, and then you quit. But it's like, it's just illogical if you think about it. If you're not growing fast enough, you will grow even less fast if you quit, right? So like, if you think you're not growing fast enough, ask for more help, or let somebody know the things that aren't making sense to you. Find a different teacher. Like, I'm pretty good at helping people through like stumbling blocks in their brain and like explaining things visually, and I'm going to write a book. I actually started it. I'm actually going to do it. I don't know if it's going to be called Piano for Creative People or Music Theory for Creative People. But I really believe in this like visual learning thing, because I would have been saved so many headaches and heartaches if my piano teacher understood me a little better. But instead, she just got mad that I didn't understand certain things. No offense to her. She was a wonderful teacher on a lot of topics. But okay, it's about to say 4444, so I'm stopping it. Bye.